sajivam sadvaitam savadutam parijana saitam Krishna chaitanya devam Sri Radha Krishna padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabando Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamame Hare Priya Manchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyehe Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nihitananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivajari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Nama Hare Nama Eva Kevalam Kulam Nasteva Gattiranyata Hare Krishna. Reading from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Eastern section, second wave Sadhana Bhakti. So the topic is about Raganuga Bhakti. After having described Sadhana Bhakti, Vidhi Bhakti, actually Sadhana Bhakti is divided in two parts. The first is Vaidhi Bhakti and the other one is Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. So Raganuga means, as explained in the previous verse, following the associates of Krishna and Braj, were known as Ragatmik Jan. They have deep love for Krishna, Rag. So text number 271. Raganuga Vivekatam Adav Ragatmikochate. In order to define Raganuga Bhakti, first Ragatmik Bhakti should be discussed. So, because Raganuga Bhakti means to follow the Ragatmik devotees, means the eternal associates of Krishna and Braj. So what is their mood that we have to understand? And then we can follow the mood of the Ragatmik Jan. So Prem, Sneha, Man, Pranay, Rag, Anurag. So the inhabitants of Krishna, they have deep love for Krishna. The inhabitants of Krishna and Braj. Of course, the most exalted are the gopis headed by Srimati Radharani. Rag, Anurag, Bhav, Mahabhav. So that love that is found only in the gopis. Madhya Yashoda, Nanda Baba. So they come to the platform of Rag, deep love for Krishna, and also the friends. Some of the friends of Krishna, like Subal, so they can come to Anurag and to some slight extent Bhav, because they understand the wonderful loving exchange of Radha and Krishna, and to some extent they are assisting there. Of course, indirectly everyone is assisting the loving pastimes of Radha and Krishna, knowingly or unknowingly. So, but of course, due to the internal potency, Madhya Yashoda, Nanda Baba, they are not completely aware of the wonderful loving exchange of Radha and Krishna. They understand that they like each other, but to what extent the loving exchange is there, that they don't have any idea. by the internal potency. So also many of the friends of Krishna, they don't know. But some of his friends, Priyanama Sakas, like Subal, and to some extent Sudam, Sridam, were also best friends of Krishna, same age. They also know, but so there's a kind of maryada there also, etiquette. So because of that, they are not talking about this, about Krishna's friends, and the girlfriends. But the younger ones, so because they are younger, so so therefore they are able to assist Krishna in a loving exchange by Krishna sending messages through them to the gopis and doing some seva also, practically, sometimes. So it is very deep, intricate, and so after performing devotional service, on the proper guidance, so after some time we may be able to understand this subject matter of the eternal associates of Krishna and Braj, and then we can follow in their footsteps also. Ishtve sarasiki raga paramavishtata bhavet tanmaeja bhavet bhakti satra ragat mikodita. Rag is defined as spontaneous deep thirst for the object of love. Bhakti that is impelled exclusively by such a thirst, it's called the ragatmik bhakti. So they are spontaneously attracted to Krishna. Jiva Goswami is commenting. Ishte refers to the person towards whom one has loving sentiments. Ishte. So Ishta, Ishtadev, Ishtadev. So Ishte refers, Ishte means to the person to whom these loving sentiments are directed to. So Rasike means natural or spontaneous. Paramavishtata, extreme engrossment, actually means thirst intrinsic to prem. Paramavishtata, avishtata. So completely, so engrossed, absorbed. Param, extreme absorption, engrossed in the object of love. So that is a natural symptom of prem, Braja prem. For example, in Vaikuntha there's also prem, but that is Aishwarya Yoga. Their own reverence is there. The Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Or Vishnu is the Supreme Lord. Ramchandra is the Supreme Lord. And in Dwarka also they understand that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So when there is own reverence, it cannot be spontaneous. It is not so intimate. But still, even in Vaikuntha, so Vishnu or in Dwarka Krishna is the Lord, and there's a relationship. Some intimacy is there, but some own reverence is there also. So pure love is there, but it is not as intimate or much below the love of the Brijbasis, which is very intimate and most intense. So Paramavishtata actually means thirst intrinsic to prem, which is the cause of being engrossed. Thus rag is defined as spontaneous, intense thirst for one's object of love. The cause. The love, thirst, is considered non-different from the effect. Deep absorption, because of its extremely strong connection as the cause. It is similar to saying life is ghee. So life is ghee. Life is ghee. Ghee means life. You know ghee? Cow ghee. Not buffalo ghee. So ghee is the cause of long life. Ghee is very good for the health. So in India it is known amongst those who are following the culture, the Vedic culture, Vaishnav culture. But nowadays modern people, they don't believe, or even doctors, they see ghee is not good for the heart, or don't take too much ghee. But actually ghee is very good for the health. And the little ghee is also not harmful for the heart. So ghee is most complete food, and medicinal effect is there also of ghee. A little ghee helps the digestion also. Ghee is the cause of long life, but is spoken of as its equivalent to show the importance of ghee as a cause. So life is ghee. So life is, of course, our life is very important. But Krishna should be in the center. Then we can really say we are alive and we are living properly. Proper life is with God in the center. But for the health, for the good health, so ghee is important. But if Krishna is not in the center, what is the use of even eating ghee and being healthy if Krishna is not in the center? So, but so ghee is the cause of long life. So, but it is mentioned as being equivalent to life. So just to give importance, to show the importance of ghee as a cause. So one who is eating vegetarian food, of course, with ghee, of course, too much of anything may not be so good, depending on the body also. So one time my health was not so good, so I was doing some treatment, some special Ayurvedic treatment. And I could, doctors didn't allow me to take anything except ghee, no oil, only ghee. But no rice, but vegetables and, of course, atta or grains was allowed except rice. And I had to take some rabri, cook down milk with munaka, without sugar, no sugar at all. No white sugar, no ghee, no honey, no gur. But I could take some dates, which saved my life. Because it is also full of iron. But then I had this rabri by cooking down half a liter of milk in and 20 munaka first. And then after every week or 2 weeks, he was increasing by 4. Then 24, 28, 32, 36, 40 munaka, 48, up to 60 or even more. Munaka and half a liter of milk. And that is very tasty and very sweet and very nourishing for the body.
Dried leaves.
Huh?
Dried leaves. Munaka.
Munaka, no, that is the raisins, grapes. No, the big grapes, no, maybe green or but the one with the seeds. So they're a little bigger from the big grapes and they're dried and they have the seeds. So that was, yes, some medicine to purify the body, all the liver and everything. And so I lost some weight, but that was a kind of very helpful. And then after the treatment, no more medicine, no more rabri, but I had to take milk and ghee. Milk 2 times in the morning and in the evening. Milk with milk, 1 cup of milk with 2 spoons of ghee, morning and evening. And he told me before you take that, you have to run for half an hour. And then you can drink it, then you can digest, otherwise you cannot. So I was doing for maybe 2 months, and then I gained some weight again, and that helped actually my body also. But anyhow, so ghee is very important. And when you have rice, you have to have ghee in the rice. Otherwise you cannot offer to the deities according to scriptures. And with chapati, of course, you take ghee. For the vegetable, best is ghee. So, so therefore, as mentioned here, ghee is very important. That is the cause of good and long life, of healthy and long life. Thus, by mentioning the effect, absorption, one should infer the cause. So thirst for the object of love. So one must have some thirst to satisfy. Thirst. I have to satisfy Krishna. So some loving sentiments must be there. And then there's a loving exchange, and then that will increase the love. So the cause is there, like for the example of the ghee. The cause for long life, for healthy life, that is the ghee. And so similarly, so the loving sentiments have to be there for Krishna, and then afterwards, so the effect is then the pure love will be there. This fact should be considered in other verses also. Tanmai, composed only of that thirst. So, Tanmai, composed only of thirst, means that which is impelled only by that thirst. That follows from the rule Tat Prakrita Vachana Mayat. The feminine affix Mai is added after a word in the first case with the meaning of made of. Panini, Sanskrit grammar. You know Sanskrit? Sanskrit? You have cold? You have a little cold? It's too cold? It's a little cold? It's okay? So Tanmai. So that is towards Krishna. So loving sentiments have to be there for the conditioned soul. It is there in the soul. The love for Krishna is there, but it is dormant. So it has to be awakened or manifested by engaging in devotional activities, although still conditioned. And still the Atma Buddhi may be there. Bodily consciousness is there, but then by engaging devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master, then the thirst will be more and more to satisfy Krishna. Lalasamai. lalasa. So that is a very strong desire, thirst, eagerness. Lolyam, also there's a famous verse. So also mentioned by Rup Goswami. The Sanskrit verse is there also. Prabhupada has quoted. I can't remember now the Sanskrit, but also the word lolyam is there. Krishna bhavana bhavit. So this was Krishna consciousness. So that comes from this one verse. I can't remember now the Sanskrit. Rupa Goswami is mentioning also. Krishna bhavana. So in Sanskrit it is there, and then Krishna Bhavanamrita Andolin, the Krishna consciousness movement. So famous verse, just I can't remember now. So Krishna Bhavana, the Krishna consciousness, so it is attained by lolyam, this intense desire to achieve that. And somehow the verse says also we have to try to get that. So by any means, or we may say by hook or by crook. So that is the only thing required by which we can become fully Krishna consciousness, lolyam or lalasa. The strong desire. Vishwanath is also commenting, spontaneous swarasiki absorption, paramavishtata, in one's object of love, ishta is called rag. The word avishtata, absorption, is the same as its cause. So in the beginning, so there must be someone has to try to be absorbed. And one must have this thirst to attain full Krishna consciousness. And then by constantly trying, then ultimately one will be absorbed. Thus it infers the love-filled thirst that gives rise to the absorption. So loving sentiment is there, thirst is there, lolyam, so intense greed to become fully Krishna conscious, and then one can be absorbed, fully absorbed. Yes. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati Kriyatam Yati Kutupi Labhyate Tatra Lolyam Apimulyam Ekalam Janma Koti Sukriti Nalabhyate. It's a famous verse. Yeah, if you don't practice, you forgot. So I forgot. Old age is there also, forgetting. Pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness cannot be had even by pious activity in hundreds and thousands of lives. Janma koti sukritaya na labhyate. Simply by pious activities you cannot get it. Tatra lolyam api mulyam ekalam. But what is required? So that is lolyam, this intense greed. And then kriyatam yati kutopi labhyate. So if it is available somewhere, one must purchase it without delay. So where is the greed? Greed to attain Krishna's lotus feet, this love. Where you can get it? Loy Bazaar? Where you can get? Where you can get the greed? In Krishna Katha, yes, if you hear from a devotee, devotee who is highly advanced, so he has love for Krishna. He has that intense greed. So if you hear Harikatha from such devotees, then you can also get this greed, or a semblance of the greed. You cannot get the same greed, but you can get the semblance, you can get something, and then you feel, yes, oh, this devotee is so much absorbed, he has so much love. I wish I could just get a little bit of that love, so that can be there. So greed we can get, so therefore we have to associate with the devotees who have this love for Krishna, who have Braj Bhakti, Braj Bhav, and who have this lolyam, intense desire, intense thirst to attain Krishna. So, but that is rare. So that thirst is called rag. So Jiva Goswami Vishwanath's commentaries are there, and mostly there's a little similarity there in the commentary, but sometimes, of course, either one has some additional information, so therefore both are mentioned in this book. So by Banaswami, he translated the original. So, and then with the commentary of Jiva Goswami, known as Durgama Sangamanitika, resolving the difficult. So, because if you just read the verse, you may not be able to understand. So, Durgam. So, the Tika means the commentary, Sangamani, so that resolving, or so you may understand the difficult subject matter. And the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, known as Bhakti Sar Pradarshini Tika. Again, Tika commentary, Pradarshini, to show, like Vartma Pradarsha Guru. Devotee who is knowledgeable, who is somewhat advanced, so is known as Vatma Pradarshak Guru. He's showing the path. He's practicing devotional service, but he's not yet highly advanced. That is Vatma Pradarshak Guru. And then is the Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru, and actually both of them, Diksha and Shiksha Guru, they are highly advanced. So mostly we see in ISKCON, they call this devotee the devotee Shiksha Guru, but mostly they are Vatma Pradarshak Guru, because they are not yet highly advanced. Highly advanced means Bhav Bhakta, or devotees at least higher level of Madhyamadikari. Bhav Bhakta means Uttam Vaishnava, those who are advanced Madhyamadikari. At least Ruchi Asakti, have a taste for devotional service, for chanting the holy names, and they are attached to Krishna. So Bhakti Sar, the essence of Bhakti. So the purpose of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, so his commentary is known as Bhakti Sar Pradarshini, revealing the essence of Bhakti. So one who knows the essence of Bhakti is known as Saragrahi Vaishnav. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explained. Sar, the essence, Grahi, he has accepted, he has understood.
I read somewhere that these commentaries by Jiva Goswami is the notes when Rupa Goswami is writing the shloka, and one by one Jiva Goswami asking and written down. Is this true?
Yeah, maybe he was asking, he must have asked some questions, but it's not that he was always there with Rupa Goswami. No. Because also you can see actually they were writing, but they were not just sitting whole day and writing. They were doing their bhajan, chanting the holy names and then of course giving knowledge to others also and inspiring others. And then they were writing something also sometime. And it's not that every day they were writing for many hours. Writing something, maybe 1 hour a day or something. And sometimes they were just chanting whole day and absorbed in Krishna. And then, okay, again opening the book or the papers they had and then writing something more. So how he could be there all the time? Jiva Goswami was serving Rupa Goswami, but not that he was all the time together with there. Just like nowadays, gurus, they have the servant, and the servant is there 24 hours with the spiritual master. It was not like that. But yes, ready to serve, but sometimes Rupa Goswami was going somewhere for one day. It's not that Jiva Goswami necessarily was just always following him. And that he was always writing. So therefore I have seen one time, it is mentioned in one place, he started like his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu at one point and after a few years only completed. It's not that he was just writing and then in 1 month it was done. No, it was taking time.
When he inspired some.
Yeah, when he was inspired divine inspiration, then he wrote something. And other times he was doing his bhajan. So sometimes he may have asked questions, that is definitely there, but highly advanced personalities, then they are inspired by the Lord himself. But even like Prabhupada, so he was reading the commentaries. He was reading the commentaries, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath. And then he was also, of course, then doing his japa, preaching to the devotees. And then he was also divinely inspired. But based on the commentaries, then he was writing his commentary. So that is the essence. And according to time, place, and circumstances, he was mentioning, he was writing. So that's the complete meaning of the sentence is that love, filled thirst, or actions inspired by it, such as stringing garlands for Krishna, which generates complete absorption in the object of love, is called the ragatmic bhakti. So they have so much desire, the gopis, to serve Krishna. And then they are not only desiring, but then they are engaged in serving Krishna. And so then they're making garlands as explained here. So they're so absorbed, they have to do some seva for Krishna. Let me make a garland for Krishna. Then taking the flowers and stringing a garland, fully absorbed with love. So there is no fault in this rag, even though it may not conform to expected rules. So usually when we worship the Lord, we have to follow rules and regulations strictly. And so in Vaikuntha also, everything is very much according to rules and regulations. And so even when Gop Kamar went there, so he wanted to embrace Krishna, and of course they were not allowing him. No, you cannot embrace the Lord. Just offer obeisances from a distance. Maybe we can let you go a little closer, maybe he will let you touch his feet. But you cannot embrace the Lord. So rules and regulations are there. So, but in Braj Bhakti, on the spontaneous platform, sometimes some rules and regulations are not completely followed. So therefore he's mentioning, It may not conform to expected rules. So just like in the temple when we make garlands, the ladies are making garlands, they're supposed to be clean cloth, and like when you worship the deities also. So if the mosquito is there and bothering you and you're just doing like this, you're touching your body, then you have to clean your hand before doing the seva, like dressing, shringar, or if you're offering some incense or whatever. So, but then in Ragamark, if one is completely absorbed, so sometimes it may be that they will also touch the body, but then they will just continue. If they're fully absorbed, then there's no harm. So therefore it is mentioned that there is no fault in Ragatmik, in Ragmark. Text 273, Sa Kama Rupa Sambandha Rupa Cheti Bhaved Dvidha. There are two types of Ragatmik Bhakti, that impelled by conjugal feeling, Kama Rupa. So Kama means conjugal feeling, but that is pure love. Whereas in the material world, Kama means lust. But in the transcendental realm, that word calm, so that also refers to love, to prem, but specifically in conjugal relationship, like the gopis, that prem, the highest prem, abhav. But because it is conjugal relationship, it is known as kam. Kamarupa. And then those who are following that, they are known as Kamanuga. So whereas the other form of a relationship or feelings, that is because of some Bandharupa, like Mother Yashoda. So Krishna is her son in Lila Vichara, in consideration of the pastime. In Tattva Vichara, consideration of the absolute truth, Maria Yashoda is a servant of Krishna. And Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So that you have to understand. So Sambandha, relationship is there. Other friends also of Krishna, so their relationship is there as mitra, friends. And so, but deep love is there. So they also have this rag, intrinsic thirst and absorption. They're absorbed in Krishna, in trying to serve Krishna, trying to satisfy Krishna, trying to be with Krishna, just trying to be with Krishna. Jiva Goswami is commenting. Kamarupa means that bhakti which is typified, rupyate, or impelled by conjugal feelings, kam. A particular type of thirst. So this eagerness, the thirst, is to have a conjugal relationship with Krishna, embracing Krishna or kissing Krishna or being embraced and being kissed. So that is known as kam, kamarup. But it is prem, it is pure love. Whereas in the material world, when you speak of kam, it means lust. So whereas prem in the material world, that is a loving relationship, and so therefore it is even in Hindi also it is used more and more elevated than kam. But in the spiritual sense, so kam and prem are actually the same, but kam refers to the conjugal relationship, whereas the loving exchange with Maria Yashoda or the friends, Sudam, Sridam, Subal, Madhumangal. So that is explained as prem, as pure love. And Sambandha Rupa, because relationship is there. Loving a relationship. Sambandha Rupa means the bhakti undertaken or impelled by thirst caused by relationship. Though Kamarupa Bhakti is a type of relationship, it is labeled separately since it is the chief relationship. It is similar to saying everyone is coming and the king is also coming. Though the word everyone includes the king, special mention is made of the king because of his importance. So similarly, all the relationships in Braj are known as prem. Prem Sambandh. Everyone has this pure love for Krishna. But the relationship with the gopis is also then explained as Kamarupa. It is also prem, it is pure prem, actually it is the highest prem. But because of the conjugal relationship, it is known as Kamarup. So it is a very deep subject matter. These loving sentiments of the Brijbasis. And so that will be discussed in the next 2 verses. And there's a little longer purport. So therefore we are not reading these verses today because it will take too much time. So, but I will just say a few more words. And actually we should understand this is an important subject matter. At the same time, so we have to concentrate for many years on Vaidhi Bhakti, following the rules and regulations. So to be very regulated, that is important. Getting up early morning and taking bath, attending Mangalati, chanting japa, worshipping the deities. So, and then hearing Harikatha or reading the Bhagavatam, and then having some occupation, going to Varnashram, and then again in the evening, Bhagavad Gita, hearing Bhagavad Gita or some other transcendental literatures. And of course, Gauratik is there. So in this way, by being regulated, following rules and regulations, then one becomes purified in consciousness, and then the natural sentiments towards Krishna will be awakened, and then it becomes spontaneous. In the beginning, difficult to get up in the morning and go to Mangalatik, but in more purified consciousness, one is so eager to attend Mangalatik that one will immediately get up in the morning and take quick bath and then go towards the temple. And then chanting also, one will be in purified consciousness, one is always very eager to chant the Maha Mantra, and then eager to read or hear about Krishna. So, but even on that platform, so one should still follow the rules and regulations, always actually, even if one is highly advanced. just to set the example for others and also to safeguard ourselves so as not to become influenced by the modes of material nature. So one has to be conscious of that, that we always have to follow the rules and regulations as much as possible. But then if one has genuine taste, ruchi, and one is attached, genuinely attached to Krishna, Asakti, then sometimes, so still the rules and regulations are followed, but sometimes one may also neglect some of them. But the devotees who are more advanced, they are spontaneously attracted to Krishna and naturally then always eager to be absorbed in Krishna. By hearing about Krishna, speaking about Krishna, chanting the holy name, serving the deities. And that will be without distraction and uninterrupted. So, Tivirena Bhakti Yogena, that is mentioned in Bhagavad also. Tivira is very strong. So ultimately one has to enter that realm of Raganuga Bhakti, following the eternal associates of Krishna in Braj. So, deep attachment, deep love. So we should understand that eventually we have to enter that realm. But it will take time, and so we have to be patient. But it is mentioned also, we should know what is the goal. And then according to that, then we can engage in devotional service. So we should know the goal is to go to Golok. And how we go to Golok? By following the eternal associates of Krishna and Braj and adopting their mood, following the Ragatmik Jan. In the Rasamrita, that is mentioned also the 8th verse. You know, 8th verse, Radhavav? No? You forgot. You? No? Tannam Rupa Charitari Sukirtan Smitano Kramena Rasanam Arsin Yoja Tistan Raje Tad Anuragi Jan Anugami Kalam Nayat Akilam Itupadesha Saram. Itupadesha Saram. Upadesha Saram, the essence of all advice. Tistan Vraje, in Braj. Tad Anuragi Jan Anugami, following the Jan. We have Anurag. There's Rag and there's Anurag. Even more deep love. That is especially between Krishna and the gopis. So they have this intense thirst to serve each other. But then in Anurag, it is such a high intensity that they become absorbed in each other. So Samvedya. And then so much so that they forget themselves. And then, but then also, so it is revealed by itself, this love, this deep love. And then Yavad Ashray Vritti. And then the highest stage of Ranurag, then it becomes Bhav. So it is very technical, very deep, and it is very scientific. But then for those who have love, then naturally it will be there. But then the acharyas have explained it scientifically also. And it is very, very wonderful and very deep. And we may have some theoretical understanding, but unless and until one is highly advanced, then it is not possible to realize that subject matter. So, but we follow the rules and regulations. We chant Hare Krishna every day, minimum 16 or 8 in the beginning and later on 16. And we do some worship. We hear something about the Lord, we read. And then slowly but surely, then the spontaneous feelings will come. So we follow the associates of the Lord by hearing about them. Tan nama rupa charitadi sukirtana smritana kramena rasana marsin yoja kramena. So it is gradual, and it is a gradual process. Kramse, kramena. And gradual and so, yes, so from one point of view it is very scientific. If you follow the process, then you will get the result. So it is explained how to proceed. And so then one has to be thoughtful and see how I can be more and more absorbed. Every day we should see if I'm more absorbed than the day before. I should try to be more absorbed. Gradually. Cultivation of Krishna consciousness. You have to try to be Krishna conscious, make an effort. And try to see how I can see Krishna everywhere, see everything connected to Krishna. So Tan Nama Rupa, we chant the name, then try to remember the form, Charit Adi, and then of course the qualities are there, and then the pastimes. Tanama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtan Smrityo. Sukirtan. Very nicely we should chant the holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sukirtan, or nicely glorify Krishna. And by doing constantly and by purified consciousness, then naturally it will be sweet and nicely done. Anusmrita, so trying to remember more and more. Kramene Rasana Marsin Yoja. So then become absorbed in consciousness. And then in the purport to this verse, Prabhupada is quoting 2 verses from this Nectar of Devotion. Krishna smanam janam chasya nija prishtam samhitam tat kata rachasya sakuryad vazam raja sada. Again, we should try to be in Braj. Physically, or trying to remember Braj, remembering the bridge verses in Vrindavan. Krishna smanam janam chasya. Krishna smaran, we should remember Krishna. Janam chasya, janam cha asya. Cha also, janam, the associates of Krishna, Krishna Jan. Nija prishtam samihitam, were very dear to him. Tatta katara chaschasya. And then we should hear about their wonderful exchange. And then we can become absorbed, and then we can attain perfection, and then we can go to where they perform the pastimes in one of the universes. So, Mahaprabhu came to establish the Yugadharma, the chanting of the holy names, and he gave the bhav, that is Braj bhav, Braj Bhakti, so that we have to understand. And so we follow rules and regulations, but then we try to advance, and we pray that we may be able to understand this devotional life, and how to advance, how to come to the spontaneous platform, how to come to the realm of following the eternal associates of Krishna and Braj, Raganuga Bhakti. So that is the essence of all advice. Seva Sadakurupana Siddharupana Chatrahita Bhavalipsanikara Vrajalokana Sarata. That verse is also mentioned. Brajalokana Sarata, following the Brajalok, Braja, the inhabitants of Braj, Lok, Anusarata, following, Anusar, the bridge buses. So it's practicing devotee. So we try to remember Braj, we try to be in Braj. And then Siddharupana Chatri, those who are advanced, more advanced, internally absorbed, and their absorption is always in Braj, trying to remember Krishna and Krishna's associates in Braj and their pastimes. So that is the essence of all advice. So most important is to chant the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Any question? No question? Jai, Hare Krishna.